Hey everyone, my name is Samantha Potosik. You're going to have to excuse my voice for this presentation because I've been sick for a while. I'm just starting to get over it. So for my final project and my topic of educational reform, I decided to talk about the lasting impacts of COVID-19 on education. A little bit about me in relation to this district. I've been here for 2 full years now teaching 6th grade English and reading. I'm on the data committee and the links committee. I advise the middle school student council. In my time in the past 2 years here as a teacher and the 2 years prior to that in another district, I've been through the run of the mill throughout the COVID pandemic and experienced education post-COVID. And there are 3 major areas of need that I've identified. The first one, students' academics took a huge hit, particularly marginalized students, who is basically who we serve in our district. Second, students' social emotional needs were very high, yet their skills were very low. And teachers experienced the most stress and burnout more than ever before in their careers. As for academic deficits, marginalized students were particularly hit the hardest with this. In a study that we looked at in this course, students who are marginalized and may never come fully back to where they're supposed to be in the pre-K through 12 education system. Particularly middle school students, which I can speak from experience with this, are struggling the most. My prediction is that they missed out on those foundational years and we're trying to stack up more knowledge on top of a foundation that was never fully finished. And students from low socioeconomic homes, again, particularly students that we serve, were more focused on surviving during COVID when they were not focused as much on their education. So it caused them to be even more behind. For solution for these academic deficits, we've seen that these academic interventions need to be widespread and give students across the board opportunities to grow. In the same study that I mentioned earlier, the only one of those interventions that was relatively successful was the one where they had a pro teacher teaching a class. As part of our links plan this year, we wanted to give teachers more relevant professional development. What I'm proposing is that we give them professional development in their specific course of study on research-based practices so that they can then do that with their students, kind of giving them a one-up when it comes to the materials that they're being provided with. In another study, more widespread growth was seen when families were involved in education. My proposal for this is that we need to dedicate 4 days a year as opposed to 2 to parent-teacher conferences. Yes, it's taking more instructional hours out of the school day. However, it's giving us a one-up because families will be more involved with their students' education, and it's going to start to build those home-to-school trusting relationships and bridges. Moving on to the social emotional needs of students, we've seen that this is a huge need across the board. 87% of teachers saw an increase in these needs. That number for marginalized districts, again, being even higher. Teaching SEL has lots of benefits because it can lead to people having more empathy, respect, and understanding for one another. And as Jensen says in her speech, these children desperately need these skills in order to function, collaborate, and build relationship in today's world. Some of my solutions for this problem is that we need to come up with a universal goal and set SEL expectations that students across the board will follow and be taught. We know that SEL is happening in all of our classrooms. Teachers are definitely doing what they think they need to do. However, without it being really universal and well put together, these students aren't going to get as much out of it as they could have. Another one of our links goals was to select an SEL program for the district. We need to make sure that we're doing that this year. We need to also make sure that the plan that we're selecting and or crafting is in line with Greenberg's 5 requirements of SEL learning. Last but not least, one of our biggest issues post-COVID is teacher burnout. Students are not the only ones struggling with the added pressure of this pandemic. After the pandemic, 67% of teachers, according to GBAO, reported that burnout was a very serious issue for them, while 90% of them were reporting that burnout was somewhat of a serious issue. So across the board, across the country, our teachers are struggling. Not only that, but they're also facing just the regular stressors that come with teaching, the constant challenges and social expectations and pressure, governmental influences or new laws or bills being passed in terms of education, content and curriculum changing. It's just all around, they need more support. My proposals for teacher burnout solutions is that we need to be able to give teachers consistent and convenient, easy access to quality mental health services outside of school walls and hours to deal with that secondary trauma and that baggage that they take home with them, according to Jensen in her speech. The reason that it needs to be out of district is because newer teachers in particular are anxious about going and seeking help inside of schools because of that fear of retaliation or being looked down upon for seeking help. We also, in general, just need more time for teachers to collaborate and build relationships with one another, as that could lead to better experiences and opportunities for our students. And teachers need to be given constant up to date training and information on changes that are happening in the educational world so they can stay as up to date and ready to move and shift as possible. So, in conclusion, in my letter, I restated that I know that everybody reading this or participating in this is very passionate about our district, our students, and its staff. And it's time that we provide our students and our staff members with what they deserve and need to be successful. My proposals, again, being one, we need teacher training for research based practices at home and school collaboration. Two, we need to create a unified SEL vision and implement this vision by selecting or creating our SEL program. And last but not least, teachers need to be given access to quality out of school mental health resources and training on educational changes. And I have my reference page. Thank you all so much and have a great rest of your semester.